Welcome to our election breakdown for the upcoming presidential race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Today, we'll take a close look at how both candidates are faring across all 50 states. With key battleground states and strongholds for each candidate, this race could go either way, and each percentage point matters. Starting with some of the most closely contested states. State-by-state breakdown. Florida. In the Sunshine State, Trump holds a solid lead with 50% of the vote to Harris's 44%. This 6-point margin shows that Florida remains a key battleground, but Trump has the edge here. North Carolina. North Carolina also leans toward Trump, with him leading 48% to Harris's 47%, a margin of 1%. Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, Harris has a slight lead of 0.3%, standing at 47.7% compared to Trump's 47.4%. California. California is solidly in Harris's camp, with her holding 58% of the vote to Trump's 33%, a massive 25-point lead. Montana. Trump dominates Montana with 58% to Harris's 39%, a 19-point lead in this traditionally red state. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is another hotly contested state. Here Trump leads Harris by the slimmest of margins, just 0.1%, with 47.9% to 47.8%. It's truly a toss-up in the Keystone State. Arizona. In Arizona, Trump holds a narrow lead of 1.7%. He stands at 49% to Harris's 47.3%. We see a dead heat in Georgia, with both candidates tied at 47.4%. This state could swing either way, making it a critical one to watch. Michigan. In Michigan, Harris edges out Trump by 0.1%, holding 47.5% to Trump's 47.4%. This razor-thin margin shows just how competitive this race is in the Rust Belt. Nevada. Nevada sees Trump slightly ahead, with 48% to Harris's 47.4%, a narrow lead of just 0.6%. Ohio. In Ohio, Trump leads by 7 points, holding 51% to Harris's 44%. Texas. In Texas, Trump leads with 51% to Harris's 45%, a 6-point advantage. Maryland. Maryland is a stronghold for Harris, with 61% of the vote to Trump's 33%, giving her a 28-point lead. Massachusetts leans heavily toward Harris as well, with her leading Trump 62% to 32%, a 29-point difference. Minnesota. In Minnesota, Harris leads Trump by 6 points, 49% to 43%. Virginia. Virginia also favors Harris, who leads by 7 points with 50% to Trump's 42%. New Hampshire. New Hampshire shows a solid lead for Harris, who has 52% compared to Trump's 43%, a 9-point difference. Iowa. In Iowa, Trump leads with 53% to Harris's 44%, a comfortable 9-point advantage. North Dakota. North Dakota sees Trump with a commanding lead of 59% to Harris's 32%, a 27-point difference. South Carolina. Trump leads South Carolina by 10 points, with 52% to Harris's 42%. Alaska. Alaska leans toward Trump, who has 52% to Harris's 43%, a 9-point lead. Indiana. In Indiana, Trump holds a commanding lead with 56% to Harris's 39%, a 16-point margin. Nebraska's 2nd District. Harris leads in Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District with 50% to Trump's 42%, an 8-point difference. Delaware. Delaware shows Harris leading by 18 points, with 55% to Trump's 41%. New York. New York is another Harris stronghold, where she leads Trump 54% to 41%, a 13-point margin. Colorado. In Colorado, Harris holds an 11-point lead with 53% to Trump's 42%. New Mexico. New Mexico has Harris leading by 7 points with 49% to Trump's 41%. Connecticut. Connecticut strongly favors Harris, who leads Trump by 16 points, 57% to 41%. Rhode Island. Harris leads by 16 points in Rhode Island as well, with 57% to Trump's 40%. Maine. In Maine, Harris leads with 54% to Trump's 41%, a 13-point difference. Maine's 1st District. In Maine's 1st Congressional District, Harris leads by a whopping 27.61% to Trump's 34%. Maine's 2nd District. In the 2nd District, Trump narrowly leads Harris by 1%, 48% to 47%. Alabama. Trump holds a strong lead in Alabama with 58% to Harris's 38%, a 20-point margin. Kansas. In Kansas, Trump leads by 16 points, holding 55% to Harris's 39%. Tennessee. Tennessee strongly favors Trump with him, leading 57% to Harris's 39%, an 18-point difference. South Dakota. Trump leads South Dakota with a commanding 62% to Harris's 32%, a 30-point margin. Hawaii. Harris dominates Hawaii with 58% to Trump's 36%, a 22-point lead. Illinois. In Illinois, Harris holds a 15-point lead with 55% to Trump's 40%. Wyoming. Wyoming is solidly Trump's with him leading 65% to Harris's 28%, a 37-point difference. Idaho. In Idaho, Trump leads with 60% to Harris's 34%, a 26-point margin. Missouri. Trump leads Missouri by 11 points with 53% to Harris's 42%. Arkansas. Arkansas also leans heavily toward Trump, who holds 55% to Harris's 40%, a 15-point lead. Washington. In Washington, State Harris leads with 53% to Trump's 32%, a 21-point difference. Oklahoma. Trump dominates Oklahoma with 56% to Harris's 40%, a 16-point lead. Nebraska. In Nebraska, overall, Trump holds a 17-point lead with 54% to Harris's 37%. West Virginia. Trump leads in West Virginia with 61% to Harris's 34%, a 27-point margin. Utah. Trump has a 32-point lead in Utah, holding 60% to Harris's 28%. Vermont. Harris leads Vermont by a staggering 41 points, with 70% to Trump's 29%. Oregon. Lastly, in Oregon, Harris leads with 49% to Trump's 44%, a 5-point margin. And there you have it, the state-by-state breakdown of the 2024 presidential race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. As you can see, many battleground states are up for grabs, and every percentage point could make the difference. Whether it's the Rust Belt or the Sun Belt, these states will play a critical role in deciding the next president of the United States. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more election coverage as we move closer to Election Day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.